Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. NBA Power Rankings Roundup, where the experts rank the Heat this week. The Miami Heat have had a rough November of basketball. It started with a Mexico City win against the Washington Wizards, but followed that up with 3 straight losses to Western Conference playoff contenders. Once sporting a positive 3-2 record has now fallen to 4-6, and they currently sit in the 9th seed on the East standings. Even worse, they recently lost the services of Jimmy Butler due to an ankle sprain suffered in their loss to the Denver Nuggets. The play took place in the first quarter and sent him straight to the locker room, missing the remainder of that game and the Heat's last 2. Now a team that is searching for consistency and identity has to do so without one of their best players. There has been no timeline to Butler's return and is listed as day-to-day. But with Miami's struggles, they may not afford to go through this stretch without him. The experts' power rankings around the league have reflected the Heat's under .500 record, although they are still giving them the benefit of the doubt. The Heat were ranked at 12 in the previous week, but their losing streak dropped them to 16 in NBA.com's rankings list. They noted the team's questionable team-wide stats, including 18th in offensive rating, 111.1, and 15th in defensive rating, 112.4. After coach Eric Spoelstra showed optimism in a faster modern-day offense, they ranked 25th in pace, 97.9. With all this being said, the NBA still had Miami as the 5th best team in the East and highlighted their depth, even though the standings don't reflect that. The Athletic weren't as generous as NBA.com, putting the Heat at the 18th spot. This ranking was a decline from the 13th spot the week prior. Their outlet has penciled in the Orlando Magic over the likes of Miami, who are each 4-6 in their last 10 games. The Magic aren't the same team without Paolo Banchero available due to injury. Unfortunately, Butler's injury of his own has provided a temporary setback in taking advantage against opposing conference foes like them. In CBS Sports rankings, they also have the Heat pinned at 18th. However, they are listed as the 7th best East team, down from 5th and 6th out of the NBA's and Athletics rankings, respectively. Miami dropped 2 spots from the previous week with CBS. They have teams like the Brooklyn Nets and Atlanta Hawks over them, with just .5 games in the standings separating the Heat from the Nets and tied with the Hawks. Even with things that haven't gone the Heat's way during this 10-plus game sample size, they are just 1.0 game back of the East's 3rd seed. The difference in competition between each conference is huge, as their 3rd seed would be good for the 11th seed in the loaded West. Miami has so much time to figure things out, but the discrepancy in the win/loss columns amongst the majority of the East are going to make things tight moving forward. Eddie Jones prevented Miami Heat from signing dunk contest champion in 2000. The Miami Heat were the preferred destination for NBA players way before LeBron James and Chris Bosh decided to join Dwayne Wade. Players lined up to come play for Coach Pat Riley in the Sun years before. That was even the case in the summer of 2000 when Isaiah Rider wanted to join the Heat. At the time, Rider was a free agent coming off a solid season with the Atlanta Hawks. He averaged 19.3 points, the 3rd highest of his career. At the time, Rider was only 28. The Heat figured they could get the most out of his potential. He won the dunk contest during the 1994 All-Star Weekend. Rider would have served as a scoring complement to Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway. It sounded good until the Heat found a better option. His name was Eddie Jones. Jones, who left the Charlotte Hornets, instantly became the Heat's leading scorer. They won 50 games but were surprisingly swept in the first round of the Hornets. "I was supposed to sign with Miami," Rider said during an appearance on the Kevin Garnett podcast. "Eddie Jones went and got that money I was supposed to get. Jones never won consistently with the Heat. Ryder actually had the better outcome. He ended up with the Los Angeles Lakers, winning a championship alongside Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant in 2001. So it all worked out. "Here comes Shaq and Kobe, come to the Lakers," Ryder said. "That's how I ended up there." Opening up the Miami Heat mailbag with this question from Malachi. Why is Terry playing in these closing lineups? He's been terrible this season. Terry Rozier has, by most measures, been terrible this season. He's averaging 13.6 points on 36.5% shooting, all career low since becoming a full-time starter, with a SOSO 2.1/1 assist-to-turnover ratio. While he's shooting a respectable 36.5% from deep, it gets ugly when he gets closer to the rim. Rozier is missing half of his shots within 5 feet of the basket and is 2 for 15 on non-restricted area shots in the paint. These numbers should get better over time, but his career average at the rim isn't stunning, 58.3% at the rim for his career, according to Basketball Reference. Where Rozier would normally see a big bump is in his mid-range numbers, going from 13% to something closer to his typical 40 to 45% would boost all of his averages and percentages. Heat cut ties with Jimmy Butler, land Warriors' rising star in blockbuster trade idea. There's a reality where Jimmy Butler is not a member of the Miami Heat past February. The issue is it's hard to judge Butler's campaign after just 7 appearances. He went out early in his 8th game against the Denver Nuggets with an ankle injury. Let's assume Butler's production in the coming months sways team president Pat Riley to move on from the veteran star. The Golden State Warriors are likely the first organization to offer a package, and a strong one at that. The Warriors are sitting near the top of the Western Conference with a record of 9-2, but there is a consensus lack of star power on the roster. Heat receive Jonathan Kuminga, DeAnthony Melton, Andrew Wiggins, Golden State's 2025 first-round pick, 2026 first-round swap, via Golden State, Golden State's 2027 first-round pick, Atlanta's 2028 second-round pick, Golden State's 2030 first-round pick, protected numbers 21-30, Warriors receive, Jimmy Butler, Bruno Fernando, Josh Richardson. Raptors receive, Gary Payton II, into non-taxpayer MLE, Atlanta's 2026 second-round pick, via Golden State, Miami's 2031 second-round pick, top 55. Protection. This hypothetical deal makes clear the direction of the Heat and Warriors while the Raptors are involved to help facilitate the trade. Miami is not forced into a serious rebuild, but instead, a retooling centered around Tyler Herro, Bam Adebayo, Kuminga, and draft capital. Alternatively, the Warriors add a few years to their championship window before Stephen Curry and Butler call it a career. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.